So let's talk about some generational differences when it comes to marketing. I feel like,
Mhm.
you and I are two different generations. I'm not comfortable saying how far apart we are. That is the truth. And so,
Yes.
as far as like social media goes, as a personal user, I've always been a big Facebook user, which my kids
Hmm.
always joke that is where memes go to die, but that's where I get all my funny stuff. But as far as marketing and in the financial space, and things have changed a lot. What are you
Hmm.
seeing as far as where advisors are?
Yeah, it's an interesting trend. Of course, like you said, there is that generational gap on social media. Not to say that there isn't some overlap, of course. I mean, I still check Facebook once a year and and older people are getting on TikTok and it mixes around, of course. But it is interesting and as a personal user of social media, I see so many more brands really using Instagram and diving in. And now with AI, there's so many automation opportunities where you as a large brand can, or small, can DM people when they respond with a keyword and you're not even doing it. And so I've seen a lot more use on Instagram. I've seen a lot more use on TikTok. I think there are some brands that are getting creative. I've seen some advisors doing little jokes and bits in their office to get people aware of their firm on TikTok. And I think there's a lot of creativity out there and a lot of opportunity, and it's just important to know, of course, where your audience is. And I think within that too, it's so important to set and to follow expectations. And not to go into this whole big thing, but so many people are talking about attention spans and are they declining? Do we need to do shorter content? Are people going to read my blog? And I forget who said it, but I was listening to a podcast and they said there's no shortage of content. People will take the time to read content. The content just has to be good.
Mhm.
And I think that's so true, right? I mean, if we want to read 5 pages because it's interesting to us and valuable, we'll find the time to do that. And there is no concern of attention span there. So I think that's very correlated to social media too.
I think that's so true. And one of the funny things that I keep thinking about is I feel like movies have gotten longer. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why is this movie 2.5 hours? And then I think, if they had broken this up into 5 30-minute shows, I would have binged the whole thing. Like, I
Right.
don't know why I care.
Yeah.
It's like an attention thing.
It's
But I
true.
mean, I feel like for social media platforms, the number one place that every advisor has to be is LinkedIn. I feel like
Yes.
that's the no-brainer. Beyond that, it is very much a question of where is your audience? Who are you trying to attract? Where are they naturally going to be?
Hmm.
So again, if you're looking at younger investors, then you probably do need to look at a TikTok, or
Yeah.
I think Instagram as well is kind of a younger audience. Uh,
Yeah.
Facebook, is difficult to me because they've changed their algorithms so much over the years. When they first started, it was great to have a business page on Facebook, and I find it a lot more difficult now. I think that for Facebook, if you want to really gain traction, you end up needing to have a group or something like that where it's very interactive and people are opting
Hmm.
in. So they're automatically seeing updates and things like that that you're posting. So it has gotten more complicated.
Yeah.
Twitter, again, is another platform that advisors either love or hate, I feel like. And it shouldn't be discounted because some people, that's where they get their news, that's where they
Hmm.
get their information. So, anyway, I know I feel like that is a personal preference, but with all of them, the consistency is the key,
Hmm.
and being there and
Yeah.
creating that digital network is the key. If all you're doing is just posting, but you're not commenting on anyone else's or you're not interacting in any way, this is social media.
Yes.
So you have to be doing that. You're not going to get as much traction probably as you would like if you're just kind of posting.
100%. And I think too, going back to the idea of attention span, and there's so much noise, as people say, and so many posts, and you can be scrolling on any social media platform for hours and never run out of content to see. And to your point, I think that's why connection is so important. People want to find the needle in the haystack and the group that they relate to and the connections. And I think that's huge for advisors. I mean, I tell our clients all the time, you're asking people to trust you with thousands and thousands of dollars in most cases, and you have to be personal and you have to connect with them and you have to understand them. And there's differences in social media, of course, but all of them allow for connection. And like you said, consistency is so important there. And I think, again, kind of going back to expectations, just use the platform that makes sense to you. If you're a really young advisor and you want to get people fresh out of college or kind of establishing their careers, maybe TikTok's a cool place because you can kind of be funnier and shorter. But if you don't want to bring in a comedy aspect to it, then I would say kind of move away from that platform, because I think that's what a lot of people look for. And do LinkedIn, where you can be professional, or do YouTube, where you can sit on camera and show your personality and be a little bit longer. I don't want to watch a 3-minute TikTok video, but I'll watch a 20-minute YouTube video. And so that's, again, the expectations of the platform that people are on, I think, is so important to understand.
Well, and one more thing about YouTube before we wrap it up. I think that people often forget that YouTube is the second largest search engine besides Google.
Right.
So don't discount being on YouTube. It's not a bad place to be. But again, just make sure you're being consistent. So
100%. Yeah, that's great. And one thing I'll end with too is, I think it's important to push your comfort zone a little bit and get creative and see what works. Nothing is forever, nothing is permanent. If you want to try a video and it's just not working, switch it up, and that's okay. But at the same time, don't go too far. If you hate being on video, you don't need to force yourself to record every week. I think it's okay to find a different form of content and just do what you're comfortable with and find what works for not only you, but your audience and your clients too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Otherwise you'll get burned out and you'll quit.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly.
Which negates the consistency and
yes. Yeah. Yeah, do what you'll enjoy being consistent with.